What's up, everybody? My name is Sean from Sean Sports Cards, and I do love sports cards. And this week, just a fairly quick video, just a bit of an update in the nice sunshine-ish of London. Just a bit of an update of where I am because exciting news. I got my first PSA returns as part of the cycles that I was starting. So, just a quick reminder if anybody was paying any attention at all to any of these things. But basically, I came back to sports cards probably about 6 months ago, 5 months ago. And one of the things I wanted to do was get a rolling submission to PSA every month and basically get a chain of those cards coming back, selling, reinvesting to more cards, buying more cards, sending off to PSA, and get this sort of conveyor belt going of hopefully generating some profit to be able to sort of ladder up into some better cards and things like that. And I started off by selling some of the cards that I already had to get enough of a base of money to be able to buy cards. And I did my first PSA sub, and they came back to really sort of this is my first data point to really test whether or not my approach could work. Because one of the big one of the key concerns that I had was, do I have a good enough eye to be able to pick raw cards that would grade well? Because if they grade well, then they'll sell well. If they sell well, that's the profit. And a big part of this was I didn't understand why, for example, people were haggling over comps for PSA 10s that they had submitted raw. They were basically there was an element of greed in my mind that they were pushing for higher profits when the reality is they should probably just take the sale. And if they take the sale below comps, then the buyer wins and the seller wins because the seller still makes profit. Everybody wins. What are you talking about? So we're going to test my resolve on that as well and see whether or not I can stick to my well-reasoned arguments and not get greedy. Four cards. The first was, and I'm not going to do this thing where I sort of reveal the grades because I'm not very good at it. I end up messing it up. First card that I submitted was a messy green refractor. Came back as a PSA 9. PSA 9 was okay. I actually thought this card was going to do okay. I thought this was going to get a 10, actually. I really thought that this was a nice, clean card. It'd be times like this where I would love for PSA to explain what they saw in a card, because the only thing I can see on this card, I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but the number on the back is not completely clean, I suppose. If that's the kind of thing, then so be it. I should have spotted that. That's not a problem. But the front of the card, there was no centering issues for mine or anything like that. But still, look, a Messi and a 9. What the fear with this is that it comes back as like a 7 or a 3 or something like that, right? So a 9 I can sell. A 9 I can do something with. I'll probably look to try and sort of maybe just recoup my costs on that one, sort of balance out a little bit. Second card worth looking at, Kylian Mbappe, number to 10. So I spent a bit more on this one. Also came back as a PSA 9. I really like this card, and I really like this card for two reasons. One, it's Mbappe in his PSG, which I will tend to associate him with PSG being a French player and everything like that. Merlin's not my favorite set at all. I much prefer more the sort of the tops, the prism stuff. I suppose, a Stadium Club, the artwork is much nicer. Yeah, there's a couple of sets that I prefer. So the Merlin always feels a bit cheaper, but 10 out of 10, great player of the era. Sort of thought that this was a good shout. Was less concerned about the grade on this one, mainly because it was a low numbered parallel. So a 9 is fine. Interestingly, the early sort of these are listed on eBay. First 24 hours, the Messi's got quite a few views, like relatively speaking for me, and a few followers. This one's not too bad. Okay, this has got some views. This is third place of the four cards that I submitted. Next card is my first, so I got a 10. So this is Mbappe in his Real Madrid. So I targeted Messi primarily, but also Mbappe and a couple of other younger players. PSA 10 for this one. I didn't think this was going to get a 10 in any universe at all, mainly because I don't know if we can see, but the left-right centering on that, the sort of the two arrow bits are not even. And I would have thought that would have been the design. So I really thought, look, it's a Mbappe to 59. I'll submit it. I'll see how it goes. I'm probably expecting it to be a 9. Turned out to be a 10. I think it's a really nice card. Basically no interest in this. It could be that I've priced it too high, given that it's a PSA 10. It's a numbered parallel of Kylian Mbappe, so I've priced it accordingly. I could be wrong on that. but basically no interest in that card in the first 24 hours at all. The card that has got the most interest and the card that will, I would imagine, be sold by the time this video goes live is the other PSA 10, which is a Bukayo Saka, again, numbered to 10. So I got the Mbappe number to 10. This one is number 5 of 10, PSA 10, gold, ice. Saka in his England uniform, which is little, was why I was able to get it cheaper than the Arsenal version. Stoked that this came back as a PSA 10. Again, like when I look at this, when I look at the centering of these two corners here, so that part of the logo there and that part of the logo there, I would expect them to be even on the card. And the fact that they're not, I sort of go, I don't understand how grading works. I legitimately considered not sending this for grading. And the fact that it's come back as a 10, I can only imagine that I misunderstand how that's supposed to be printed. But absolutely stoked. So what does it tell me? Two nines and a 10. Two nines, two tens. Let's get it right. Two nines and two tens. Not bad hit rate as far as I'm concerned. One more 10 and it would have been phenomenal. One less 10 and it probably would have been borderline disastrous. So it wasn't a big sample size to call from. But I think at the moment, my eye is not bad. I need more data. I sent two more groups of cards to the sub center in November, and I think they're at the PSA grading stage. So I'm curious as to when they come through the grading process. It's only been he says it's only been 4 months. It's been 4 months. When they come out the other end of the grading process, it'll be interesting to see what grades they get. I'm not expecting tens out of those. It's very much the expecting eights and nines and hoping for tens. If I get any tens, that'll be fantastic. My hope is to basically generate a profit from these four when you counter the raw cost and the PSA cost across the four of them. And selling the Saka for the floor price that I've got, which is what I've got an offer at the moment, would start me well on the way for that. So yeah, good start, I think. Starting that flywheel, right? So, I've got the next 2 to 3 months of grading costs covered. I've got arguably the next couple of months after that, the grading costs and the raw card costs covered. So I'm in a really good spot in terms of where I want it to be as far as a low effort, relatively low effort, like buying 4 or 5 cards, selling 4 or 5 cards a month, checking over, getting, bits and bits and bits and building and building and building as a long-term thing, sort of dollar cost averaging it. Started out quite well. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe next week. Well, next week I won't because I'll be overseas. I'll be doing some slightly less formal videos. But yeah, we'll check in and see how these are going on eBay and see how the whole journey's going. So thanks very much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, flame me, send me annoying stuff. By all means, thanks for watching. This has been Sean Sports Cards.